These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, February 19th, in the midst of the All-Star break. It's the real break now. All-Star weekend's over. Dunk contest done, three-point contest done, All-Star game done. All of that super fun, super cool All-Star weekend stuff is done. We talked about it in a video this morning on the channel. I'm sure if you checked it out, you know our thoughts on the All-Star game. I don't think we're going to be talking about the All-Star weekend in this episode, which is, I would say, a good thing overall, because it was special.
We have
It
a
was,
little bit.
yeah, maybe not this exact All-Star game, but we can start at All-Star weekend because Jayson Tatum met Larry Bird for the first time, apparently, which is pretty cool. He got a chance to meet the Celtics legend. Larry Bird not out much, likes his privacy, likes to hang out. Tatum, on meeting Larry Bird, said, "I remember saying I've never met Larry Bird, never been in the same room as him. As crazy as that sounds, it's never worked out." But before tip-off, part of the Celtics PR staff spotted Bird and ran Tatum down. This is in an article. Said, "I got the chance to meet him, tell him how much of an honor it was to meet him, and he told me that he was looking forward to meeting me. That was crazy to hear him say that. He was a lot taller than I thought he was. What he means to the game, what he means to the city of Boston and the Celtics. He's the ultimate Celtic, so it was an honor to meet him." Just very cool. Just very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool that they finally got to meet. Up until this point, if you had told me that they hadn't met, I wouldn't have been shocked. Would not have put my jaw to the floor, if you will. But it is a bit strange that they hadn't met before this. I know we kind of touched upon this with Bobby Kravitsky on Talking Seas, but Larry was in town for the 2019 playoffs when the Pacers visited the Garden. And he got put on the big screen. It was a massive ovation. That would have been a time I wouldn't have been shocked if he met the players, but it does make sense as he was kind of a part of the Pacers organization why he wouldn't want to do that, especially like knowing about him. Very competitive, doesn't exactly want to, mingle with the opposition. But it's nice that they finally did get to meet. I know Tatum kind of said like things just didn't line up for them to have met before that. So it sounds like there was some sort of effort going into it. But I was most impressed with the sheer admiration you could tell Larry Bird had for Tatum. That was really, really sick to see. And I know another angle of this we can get to is like the Missoula angle where he's having all these former guys come meet the team. So I'm sure that goes nicely with his mindset too.
Yeah, I mean, you think of a Celtic, you think of Bill Russell, Larry Bird, like that. Those are your 1-2 right there. And so the fact that Tatum hadn't met him, I suppose, is a bit weird, but it makes sense when you start to like really realize the context. Like Larry Bird doesn't leave his house. He likes to hang out. He likes his privacy. He doesn't like to be in the limelight a lot. And so he's just not around much. And I think you mentioned this on Talking Seas. Keith Smith pointed out, like, he worked for the Pacers for a long time. He wasn't going to be parading around, like saying hi to Tatum, saying hello to the Celtics. Like Danny Ainge isn't around right now because he works for the Jazz. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how it is. It's just, it makes sense when you really think about like, oh yeah, that's why they haven't met, because he's not a part of it. So I get it from that perspective.
Jack, handshake, Larry Bird, not leaving the house.
I hate this narrative. I hate it. I really don't like it.
Okay, I'll leave you alone. But no, like Larry Bird lives the life I think everybody kind of wishes they could live, where they just fuck off and nobody bothers them. And it's cool he came out to All-Star Weekend, of course, because it's in Indiana. He's going to show face. Being the face of that state's basketball history is probably a good reason to do so. It was pretty great that, Tatum really, really cared about meeting him too. We've seen a lot of growth in terms of Tatum's admiration for the city and the Celtics as an organization and really taking pride in being a part of it and wanting to be one of the main figures in the team's history by the time his career is done. And, this is a big part of that. Have respect of the legends that came before. I saw Bill Sy did the article for Celtics blog on this, which is where I pulled the quotes from. And he mentions, do we know if Paul Pierce met Larry Bird? Do we know if they ever got to meet? I'm not sure. Maybe Bird was coaching the Pacers for a bit while Pierce was in the league, so they might have got to meet that way. But I don't think it was anything like this if they did. You know what I'm
I have
saying?
no idea. That's a good question. I don't actually know.
'Cause Pierce
Like,
was the guy before Tatum. I mean,
yeah,
there were the buffer guys, like Isaiah was a huge bridge guy. Rondo was the Celtic guy for a while. But, nobody to the magnitude of Tatum or Pierce has come through really since Larry Bird, so for this to have happened is pretty great. Might seem like a minor thing to everybody on the outside, but with all of the legends we've seen floating around the Auerbach Center this season and the sense of brotherhood Missoula is trying to instill within the organization in those that came before, this is just a cherry on top of that movement. So it's a really awesome sight.
yeah, and I said this on Talking CSU, like, and that motherfucker's breaking all his records. He's taking all his like Tatum's taking all his shit too. So he's like, "Hey, handshake,
He
it's
has
mine
to
now."
respect him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like the only two guys that have ever scored 60 points in Celtic green right there on
That's
the screen.
dude. I don't think like it is like that's incomprehensible to me. Like Tatum's 26 and he's already like in like 1-2 Larry Bird. Obviously, it's not the same, but like the fact that he's even like holding a record, him and Larry Bird are the only two players in Celtics history. Insane. Like that, it's really crazy. The magnitude of that. Just
Championship
thinking
next.
about it. It better be. I went on a whole thing. I said, I did my best you impression. I said I was on
Who
the
was
Knicks
this with? Oh, the Knicks thing?
pregame show, and he asked me at the start of the season, like before the season started, because we did the opening day pregame. He said, what is considered a failure for the Celtics? I said they have to make the finals. At the very least, they have to make the finals. And he asked
Yeah.
me now, and I said, I'm gonna exaggerate, but if they get to game 7 of the finals and lose on a buzzer beater, it's a failure. Like I said, that's the bar. And obviously that's an exaggeration because you'd have to have some context there. But you win. Like you have to win.
If
So
everybody's healthy, you have to win. You have
yes.
to. You've won all year. You've beaten just about everybody that's been put in front of you. I think the only
Yeah.
team they've played and haven't. No, well, let's see. They haven't had the back half of the Warriors either. But like
Thunder Nuggets.
OKC, yeah, Nuggets. I'm excited. I'm excited for the playoffs until they get here, and then when they get here, I'm going to be miserable. Just wait. You guys didn't get to see it last year. It was just game after game, just grueling hardship, like ups and downs, roller coaster. I hope they take it serious this year.
Mhm.
I was explaining the playoffs to who? I think I was talking to Ray last night because we went and got my friend Ray and I went after basketball and went and got fast food. And I was like explaining to him, I was like, listen, like playoffs last year, they fucked around too much. I hope they don't do that this year. It was going in depth.
I will say, made for excellent pod content. Made for excellent
No, it
podcast.
does. It sure does. And Jack, just to put the cherry on top for you, you'll get a kick out of this. I was in the coffee shop today and I thought of the game 4, 2022.
Oh, wait, game 4, 2020.
The Warriors.
Oh my god.
I thought about it just I was thinking about it. I was like, God damn it.
You're sick.
I am sick.
You're
I don't
ill.
even remember what brought me to that like thought train. Like I don't know what my thought train was to get there, but I was mad as hell when I was waiting for my coffee. I was like, I can't believe this.
You need some help, brother. You need some help. We mentioned we wouldn't talk about this All-Star weekend, but we can talk about a future one. Reporting from Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe. Celtics are trying to host the 2029 All-Star game. This is a quote from Rich Gotham. We've had those conversations with both the NBA and the city of Boston, a lot of different constituencies. Took me a second. Including TD Garden and Meet Boston. We've had some preliminary conversations, and there's enthusiasm from all parties to bring the game to Boston. We're working on it. Gotham told Washburn, the economic impact is really big. It's not quite the Super Bowl, but as far as sporting events go, it's a big event. It's the NBA version of the Super Bowl, and it draws people from all over the world. Media coverage is global, and it would be a great way to showcase Boston. And Boston is certainly, particularly with all the development that's gone on in the seaport, all the hotels, facility. Boston's definitely a viable destination, so we're hoping to be able to bring a game here. I think 2029 is likely, but nothing is locked in at this point. They haven't hosted, you put this on here, since 64. Been a long time since Boston has hosted the All-Star game.
For what it's worth, 64, they did win. They won a title. So.
Respect.
Correlation.
Hopefully.
No, I mean, it would be cool to have all the All-Star stuff in Boston. I know we have done, and I'm sure we will get into it later, because there is a segment on this sheet about the All-Star game. it's not fun anymore. Like, I'm gonna save the rant for later, but it's really we just watched. Everybody's miserable about it. So yes, it's cool to have the festivities here. I hope by the time it's brought that there are like improvements made, because if not, I'm not sure people are going to continue to get excited about this. I'm just not. But
Well, I think it's less of having the game here and more of having the players and the media here. I
no,
think
I
that's the
agree.
more important
I
thing.
agree with
Yeah.
you. And that's the exciting part, because there are a lot of cool events that go along with the All-Star game. Like on Twitter, our friend Cam was there. He went to Indy, as did Bobby and Joe
Mhm.
Sway. And he got to go to like this convention. They had a 2K booth. They had a Starry, the soda booth, where it was like a shooting competition. Like, they had all sorts of little festivities you could just show up and do. Why would you not want that here? It would be great for the locals just to go and like enjoy and dive into the NBA. When we went to Vegas for the in-season tournament, they had all this great stuff you could do outside the arena. You didn't even have, well, actually, you did. I think you did need a ticket to the game to get to that part, but just having all of that local would be fun. The amount of media and attention that you would get would also be a good time, and it would be good for the Garden, I think, just to have it there.
Definitely. And I don't think this would necessarily be relevant at the time because I feel like the Celtics will still have a similar core, but like show some players. Boston's pretty cool. Come on down.
Yeah.
Like Boston's a cool place. You want to be here? I don't
Well,
know
if
if
you want to talk
Indy.
about that, a
Yeah.
lot of like Bam Adebayo Celtics chatter happening because he was hanging
Really?
out with Deuce. I don't know. I see it on Twitter, saw it on Reddit. I don't know why people think this will happen, because I just don't think they will ever have the money to do this.
No.
But everybody's like, yeah, him and Tatum are buddies, and all that. So the All-Star game is the time for the tampering. I'll tell you that. It's how Al Horford ended up with the Celtics, if you remember correct.
I don't think that ever happened. That'd be sick. That is one of the guys that I look at and say he'd be a pretty good fit in Boston. I think like that makes a lot of sense. But
Final
they
thought on
just won't have
this.
the money. Yes.
2026, they were trying to get it to. Went to the Clippers with their new arena.
Who's next year? Do you know?
I do not know.
You
As of
keep
next
talking. I'll
year.
look it up.
Okay. But sneaky happy that it will not be here in 2026, just in case that's LeBron last game and we don't have to have a circle jerk.
What if he plays till 29?
That'd be terrible. One, I wouldn't want it to be at the Garden his final All-Star game, but I just don't want to deal with him for that long.
Next year's Chase Center, San Fran.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fine. No complaints. My God, the last 3 years have been rough for locations for these guys. I just looked at it. Utah.
Oh, that's right. It was ass. And then 22 was Cleveland.
Cleveland, Utah, Indiana. They said, sorry, our bad. Let's do San
No wonder
Fran,
they're not
then LA.
trying.
Yeah, right. San Fran, LA. The last time they tried was the first year of LeBron versus that, and that was in LA. And then it went Charlotte, Chicago, Atlanta, Cleveland, Salt Lake, Indy. They haven't had a warm place since the last time they tried. Maybe they'll give it a go this time around. San Fran is back.
Did they do All-Star in 2021?
Yeah, it was in Atlanta. Giannis
Atlanta got the shaft on that one, huh? Because they couldn't really have people there. With
Yeah,
COVID.
They got screwed 100%. 100%. It would be cool though. I would like All-Star in Boston. I think it'd be a fun event.
We would probably go. Hopefully by that time we have, big britches.
Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. I gotta get a job first. We gotta figure it out, but we'll get there eventually.
The NFL season is wrapping up, and there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Let's go to the email, see what people have to say. I know we have a ton of emails, but first, let's spin the wheel of Incognito, and spoiler alert, we have a winner. We have a winner. Let's see if Joshua Michonne will win Incognito. He commented today. We got to start reminding people at the start of the shows again, but please comment
Yeah.
what's popping on the show. Congrats.
Clap it up.
Go in from an email from you too.
Get ready to eat popcorn, buddy.
Josh and Jamie, send us emails, hbtcpod@gmail.com with your name and phone number. We'll get you hooked up with the $10 Incognito gift card. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Now let's go to the email, which is very cool because we have 7 emails from 6 different people, which is it always makes me smile when
Uncharted territory.
from new people. It's very fun. But let's start with the OG, the legend. RJ, what's poppin'? Intentional mindset dunks. Evening, guys. I love JB in the dunk contest, especially his tribute to his left hand. I just wish he would have gotten it from Marcus, and then they both stare at his left hand. McClung can enjoy his trophy in the G League. Be well, RJ.
Yeah.
Email.
My mom says Mac McClung will be on the Globetrotters next year.
It's fucked up.
Take. No, I mean, I loved the left-hand dunk. When it happened, I was hyped. I was like, yes, absolutely do this. I thought he might do something with that, but, didn't win. Like the Michael Jackson glove, too. And I'm Michael Jackson. Music's excellent. I guess he's from Indiana. Somebody tweeted that.
Yes.
Oh, Jalen said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another wrinkle to it. But, yeah, I mean, Jalen was creative with his tributes with all of his dunks at the very least.
Yeah, he tried. He was creative. And I think he said his goal was to have fun, and that's what he did. So good for Jalen. Matt Souza says, Lamar. After seeing Lamar Stevens play 3 games and watching them, I think he could have been a usable piece. He didn't get much opportunity. I guess that's what's aggravating. I think he's capable of doing the job we brought Tillman to do. Yes, Lamar's 2 inches shorter, but he makes up for it with his bounce and muscle mass. He's been incredibly efficient, putting his body on the line against Giannis, hustling and playing efficiently. He hasn't shot below 50% since shooting the Grizzlies, who are now 2-1 with Lamar. For Christ's sakes, he had 3 blocks, 1 steal, 5 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds. Shot 60% and had 13 points. So I'm upset we let him run on the bench without getting in real minutes. Could have developed him. I just don't get the move. I'm happy he's getting the time he clearly deserves. I think he should have gotten the same opportunity as O'Shea. Very mad. Matt is about Lamar Stevens. I kind of understand it. Like, I get wanting him to get the same opportunities as O'Shea, and I agree with it to some degree because I do think he could have played a similar role. He's not as athletic as O'Shea, so he's not as good as cutting and dunking and getting in there. He's a good offensive rebounder, but I still think O'Shea is better. And Xavier Tillman's just a better big man than Lamar. Like, that's just what it is. And he's doing all that stuff there because he's getting 20 minutes a night. He'd play like 5 minutes in Boston. Like, he's just not going to have the same opportunity to get in that rhythm and make the same impact. I get it. I like Lamar. I've talked to Lamar. He's a great guy, great human, like a phenomenal person and a good basketball player, underrated. But I just don't think he was going to get the same opportunities to thrive the same way he's thriving in Memphis here.
Yeah, it's a fact. I mean, even if you were like, hey, I think Lamar Stevens should get the same opportunity that O'Shea's getting. I mean, O'Shea's not getting the greatest opportunity. He's missed, what has he appeared in? I want to say 34 games of the 51 or 53 they've played so far. Like, he's not getting a ton of run anyway. When he's out there, it's for like 6 minutes. So even if Stevens did get the O'Shea minutes, he still wouldn't have a lot of time to prove himself. I think going to Memphis, unless his ultimate goal was to win a title this year, which it probably was, the way everything went. But it's his next best option because he's going to have the ultimate green light there. He's not under contract past this season, so if he plays well for the next couple months, he maybe can get himself paid a few extra $1 million on another team, or he can stay in Memphis and fit in with that grit and grind kind of mindset they have, which is a Lamar Stevens staple of basketball. Mm-hmm. And he could probably endear himself to the crowd there. I'm happy to see he's getting an opportunity with the Grizzlies at the very least. As far as playing with the Celtics goes, even if he's getting the minutes that O'Shea's getting, there isn't as much opportunity in terms of flexibility in the offense. It's be ready when passed to, put the ball in the basket, and play defense. With Memphis, much, much more wiggle room with what he can do on the offensive end. It's just not something he would get with the Celtics. So as a basketball player, I just think he's better off being in Memphis. Again, it seemed like he was well-liked with the Celtics, and this is the last thing, and was a good soft-spoken leader, believe it or not. But Memphis is a great situation for him, so I'm sure he's not too mad.
Yeah, like, you're correct, I think, to wish Lamar had more opportunities here, because I do think he's a good player, but it just, like,
yes.
the Celtics are just too good. Like as
True.
pretentious and stupid as it is to say, like he just wasn't gonna get the minutes. Like it just wasn't gonna happen, unfortunately. But happy for Lamar. Happy he's getting that chance in Memphis. So next one is from Matt as well. Springer. Hey, do you think Springer is an attempt to develop a future defensive menace like Drew Holiday? He can literally pick the brains of the two best defensive guards in the league. If he can develop any sort of offensive consistency, he's going to be a steal. And with the new second apron, I'm starting to think Brad is a genius besides the Lamar trade. Unless Lamar was the only way to bring in Tillman. Thanks, guys. I don't think Jaden Springer will ever turn into Drew Holiday. Hot take. However, I do think this is Brad's calculated way of finding guys he thinks could be rotation pieces eventually. And I do think Jaden Springer is a very good defensive player. And so this could pan out if they can help him develop offense. So the Brad is a genius part. I agree. He's a very good GM. And I think it stems from his abilities as a really good coach.
I agree with that because I think he has a really good understanding of how the stars on this team work, how they work together, and what the best types of players are to put around them. He probably thinks to himself, if I was coaching this team, who would I want to be able to put out there to help out Tatum and Brown and the rest of the gang? Another interesting wrinkle to this is Springer, if he does develop, which I think he's in a good situation to do that. He's playing underneath two of the better defensive guards in the NBA in Holiday and Derek White. So those are two great mentors for him to learn from as he continues to try and grow as a player. Also, should he pan out and improve, he will be a player that the Celtics can use, as Brad Stevens put it, potentially in the playoffs, maybe not this season, but going forward, that you are not going to have to pay a ton of money. That is wildly important as this core continues to play on in the future, looks to have sustained success because of the new CBA. We've talked countless times about you don't want to be over the second apron. With the second apron, you are going to be heavily restricted in what you can do. For example, your draft pick will go to the bottom of the first round if you are exceeding that apron too many years in a row. You can't acquire players via trade. There are so many different penalties that you're going to face for overspending. By finding players, whether it's through the draft, which is also important, which is why all these picks kind of matter now, and also on cheap contracts like somebody like Springer, you're going to be able to have more sustained success with the stars that you already have.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Adding players who could potentially help you and play specific roles while developing the rest of their game, it has been what he wants to do, and that's what the Celtics have done. Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Peyton Pritchard, Jordan Walsh now. Like, it's what they do. And it's a good
Hauser
thing.
in particular is like the number one value guy that they have found since Brad has been in charge. Yeah, literally makes $1 million per season.
100%. I wrote about it in for Celtics blog before the season. I said the Celtics are building a G League farm system in Maine. They're effectively building a minor leagues equivalent of basketball, where they are developing players who could potentially play a role. It's a role player farm system. It's perfect. It's a great work. It's what the Heat do. It's what the Grizzlies have done a good job of, and now the Celtics are doing it too. So credit. From Philip. Birthdays in the roster. Happy birthday, Philip.
Happy
hi, fellas. What a great season so far. As I've watched every Celtics game, rain or shine, for 10 years now, it isn't lost on me how great and fun this group is. Brad is a mastermind. Shout out, Brad. That said, I think about birthdays every day, and I cannot help but know time is not on the side of every player on a roster. I think long before White, KP, or JB is traded away, our older vets will get moved. How do you see Al and Drew aging as we, one, win championships, or two, continue to be denied? Do you agree that they will eventually get moved before White, KP, Drew, or White, KP, JB, I think is what he meant. Not trying to rain on our parade, but just wondering what Jedi Master Brad is thinking. Best, Phil.
I think GM segment so far.
Yeah, I think the piece from Howard Beck of The Ringer is some pretty good insight into this. Like, would they consider moving a role player like Drew if something doesn't work out, or would they rather trade Jalen for other pieces? I don't think they trade Al. I think Al lives on the Celtics till he retires. So I don't think that'll happen. I think a Drew trade is more realistic because of how much money he might want, but I also think it is equally as realistic that they either, one, just pay him, or two, he takes a discount to stay with the Celtics. I don't think they'll make it. If they win a championship, they're not going to make a trade. I don't think they trade anybody. I think we're just going to keep winning. But I do think Brad is smart enough to, if he sees one of them on the decline, strike while the iron is hot, regardless of what's happening. And I think that's what makes a good GM. Like, for as much as we love Marcus, obviously he's both of our favorite players of all time. Like, even when he was playing for the Grizzlies, he wasn't amazing. Like, he was good, but he wasn't the same Marcus that was always here. And you wonder how much of that is just the situation, how much of that is the players around him, or how much of that is the wear and tear on his body over all the years of diving on the floor and being a menace. And so I think Brad has a good eye for when players are losing it. The reason I don't think they'll trade Al is they've already let him go once. You bring him back, he's too important to the locker room, and you're not going to get much for Al anyways. Like, trading Al is not worth a first round pick. Drew Holiday would make more sense if you can find a team that's willing to give up a good package, but you have to stay competitive, and I think Brad knows that. So they won't trade anything just for the sake of getting value in return. The only way they trade, I think, a core member of the piece is if it keeps them in the title race at this point.
To go back to the Al point, I really think he's one of those guys you just kind of can't trade, even if you had a good offer. You talked about his presence in the locker room. Yes, it's very important. But also it feels like he's one of those, I mean, I don't know. They traded Marcus. So just, you have to take this with a grain of salt. He's taken a team-friendly deal to stick around. That should kind of be respected. I am so against the player power stuff, but this is more of a, he did you a favor, don't fuck him over thing. I mean, he's been a great vet. He's been a great Celtic every year that he's been here, whether it's his first or second stint. There is no reason that Al Horford should not be a part of whatever the Celtics are trying to build, and he should be able to finish out his career in Boston. He seems to like it here. His family seems to like it here. So there's no reason to just send him packing and make him have to uproot his life again without like any real purpose. It just doesn't make sense. As for the other guys mentioned here, I don't love the idea of trading Holiday either. I think it's a similar situation to Horford. I don't know what his next contract will look like. There's talks of that. I know he has a player option this summer, which could lead to some sort of, whether it could be a team-friendly deal or a re-up or whatever it's going to have to be. You may see a different figure in the cap sheet going forward, and that could have an impact on whether or not they trade him, depending if it's team-friendly, not team-friendly, because you don't want them to restrict themselves going forward either. But I don't know. I think Holiday has been a good vet for this team, much like Horford has, where he's willing to sacrifice. He's taking the least shots he's taken since he was a rookie. He's, despite that, shooting the highest he's ever shot from three in his career, and he's continuing to play good defense for you, not only doing it on the perimeter, but also taking on the challenge of guarding bigger players, which is not something you can find all over the league from a guard. He's just kind of unique enough where you should keep him, and I think he's another guy where you have an opportunity to make an impression on the rest of the league by treating him correctly towards the end of his career. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't. But there's no I don't know. I think he's been good enough to where you don't need to talk about trading him. I think of these guys, and I think none of it is likely, Jalen is the most likely to get dealt. Don't think it's soon. But just because of the cap figure that you would be able to bring back, it just makes the most sense if you believe in the rest of the group without him.
I agree and I understand, but I also think there is going to be a time when Drew is not Drew anymore.
No, it's true.
Riding
Absolutely
that
true.
line of like maybe having to get value, I think is the point Philip is making, and I get it. That's just too tough of a line to ride, I think, at certain times. So I think they're just better off keeping them both for now and seeing what happens. At least
the cap figure matters with Drew. Whatever his next contract is does matter. Because
of course,
if you look at Horford, who's in a similar boat to Holiday in the sense that he's a vet, his skill set has become increasingly limited as he has gotten a little older. Not to say he's bad by any means, but he's not Al Horford from 2018. The fact that he's only making $10 million makes it so we can sit here and be like, they don't need to move him. He's a good fit. He's worth it. There's nothing that you could get back in a trade that makes it worth it. If Holiday's going to make $30 million plus, which we don't know what it's going to be. But if he is, then you can begin to pontificate and be like, well, Celtics have a lot of their draft picks. That's a cap figure where you could take somebody back that's actually worth bringing in, and the trade becomes more valuable to talk about. I don't love the optics of trading him. I don't know what he's going to look like going forward. I don't know what money he's going to make going forward. So there's a lot of variables that go into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see what happens. I lean on the side of they're just going to keep him and roll, but Brad knows best. I'll go back to that every time. So
The Brad thing too, just before we quickly get into this email, he has shown like a Belichick type way of trading guys a year too early, which is a good thing because you don't want to be a year late. You want to be a year early because then you get your value,
yes,
and then whatever you can get more for him. That's the end.
agree. Credit to Brad. I mean, Brad's been, I think, as good as you can expect a guy to be.
Oh yeah.
So credit to him. Next email we got is from Christian Gallietmo.
Hey Christian.
Hey man. ... Do y'all think Jalen will get even better using his left hand? And also, let's say we make the finals. Do you think we'll be able to beat the Nuggets or OKC in a 7-game series? Jalen with his left hand, I think he's been a lot better this year. And I think the left hand has mattered a lot less because he's just been put into better positions to succeed and capitalizing on them more. And do you think they'll be able to beat the Nuggets or OKC in a 7-game series? Yes, I do. Yeah,
I agree with both those statements. Did you see the dunk contest? The left hand.
It's true. This is true.
But
super cool dunk.
I think the Celtics are well equipped to play both these teams in the finals. I think they have the bodies to throw at Jokic in particular, and I think they have the perimeter guys to throw at SGA. If you want to reference the first game against OKC where they lost, they did lose. They did tighten it up in the fourth quarter, and Tatum's defense on Gilgeous-Alexander really helped that. If they see them in the finals, I'm sure that'll be something that they go to. And also the youth of OKC may raise some red flags in the playoffs. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but Denver is a proven team. It's going to be probably a tougher test. Who knows who gets there? West,
Yeah.
crap.
West is going to be wild. Look at we didn't even say the Clippers. I think the Clippers could beat either of those teams. Clippers are
It's
nasty.
true.
Clippers
Clippers might be the most difficult team to deal with too.
We were talking about that on the next film school pod.
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah. Thanks for the email, Christian. Email us again. We love it. Next one from Matt. Matt, we saw this during Talking C's, but we were waiting for the pod. Matt, All-Star Fix. Hey, first time email, long time listener on YouTube. We know you, Matt. You're a beast. Thank you, sir.
absolute dog.
Some interesting All-Star ideas I saw from Twitter and I thought of. 1v1 King of the Court tourney, limited dribbles, 10 seconds per possession. In W.
Player pride comes in there.
3v3 tourney. Each of the 6 divisions has to put a team together, one from each team with subs, 5 total players per team. Sure. Fine with me. Yeah, maybe find a way to use the All-Stars in it, but I like it. I like it. Did every division have an All-Star this year? Definitely, right?
Did every division? Let's see. Atlantic, yes. Southeast, yes. Central, yes. Northwest,
yes. Everyone
yes.
did.
Minnesota, OKC had one.
Southwest only had one though. In the
Luka.
West, Luka, and everybody else got popped. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the idea though, Matt. In 3-point contest should be available to NBA, college, WNBA, retired. That would be sick.
Retired would be absolutely insane.
Retired.
That would
very
be
cool.
lit.
Yeah, I'm in, Matt. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. That's awesome. I keep thinking I can't swear because we just did Talking C's, but I can swear now. Yeah, Matt, that's all. That's awesome. I love that. I would add G League. Let the G League guys in too. Let them cook. Let them earn a contract on the 3-point contract. Dude, G League players could legitimately earn a contract in the 3-point contest. Imagine somebody comes in and makes everyone. Like, seriously?
All I'm thinking about is the retired guys that are like, I hate today's NBA coming in, trying to prove themselves.
Good luck, buddy. Figure it out. Diversify the best shooters. Steph or Sabrina was awesome. Anyone and everyone should get to shoot a shot to shoot on the biggest stage. Reggie said, "Shoot or shoot." Yes, I have no idea for the All-Star game. It feels like an idea of home court advantage in the playoffs would be a stretch and not fair. That'd be entertaining. It'd be entertaining to create another team advantage somehow within the All-Star break, though. Thanks, Matt H. Yeah, I really like the retired players idea. That's a heater. That's a W. Love that, Matt.
I mean, there's a lot. Dunk contest being horse is one. I do like the one night tournament of just chaos. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these ideas are good too. So good job.
Yeah,
Matt.
We'll have to see. Take the idea from Matt. Adam Silver. Email from Ryan Hall. PP versus MC. I know it's not possible. Trade deadline's over and the money doesn't add up. Just a little fun hypothetical question. If you could magically do a trade, would you trade Peyton Pritchard for Mike Conley? Just a fun little question. You could possibly debate. Much love, Ryan H. I know you're a huge Mike Conley guy. I know you love Mike Conley.
I like Mike Conley.
Respect. I like Mike Conley too. No, I would not trade Peyton Pritchard for Mike Conley.
I might.
I don't think I would. You need the shooting. You need the extra 3-point shooting. Mike Conley's not a bad shooter, but the range and the consistency, and I would argue the quickness of Peyton Pritchard. And I don't know if Ryan wants us to take the contract into account, but I think that's important too, even though Mike Conley did just get extended. But you got a cheaper player, a younger player on a smaller deal. I wouldn't make the move. I think Mike Conley's the better player, yes, but I think you need the shooting and the range that Pritchard gives, especially with like Mike Conley would never have the ball in his hands in Boston.
I just think if Mike Conley was on the Celtics, one, he would not have the ball in his hands. You're absolutely right. But two, he could prove to be a big veteran presence on the team because he's done that with both Minnesota and Utah. When he plays, the team is much better. When he does not play, the team is not as good.
He's also shooting far better from three than I thought at 44%. So I'll eat my words. My bad.
But even then, like, I do understand your point. Like, he's not going to be facilitating, even though he could. Because you can look at somebody like Drew Holiday, who was a great facilitator last year, had what, 7.5 assists per game. And this year he's barely being asked to do that. He's at like 4.5, which is fine.
Mm.
Mike Conley could probably take on a similar role. He's a good defender, but he is getting older. He did just sign an extension, which we have on the sheet. We can skip it now, I guess. But it's 2 years, $21 million. So he'd only be making like $2.5 more million than Pritchard per season going forward. At the end of the day, this wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But I mean, Pritchard's great too. And his ability to shoot threes from long distances is a huge help for the Celtics.
Yeah, you know what?
Confidence is a huge help for the Celtics too.
Let me double back. For this year only, if we were talking this year and maybe next year, then yes, I'd switch it. But if we're talking in general, then no, because Mike Conley's 36, and like you want to maintain the longevity. And I think Pritchard will be better than Mike Conley in like 2 years from now, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not trying to play Jenga with the team's chemistry.
Of course, that's also extremely important. Like, I don't want to come off and say I think Peyton Pritchard is better than Mike Conley. Obviously not, but I'm thinking like long term in general. Yeah. I think you'd rather Pritchard, but awesome. Thanks for the emails.
Good emails, guys.
Dope.
Thank you
Very
guys
fun.
for reaching out. If you want to be involved in the next podcast, hbtcpod@gmail.com is the way to get in touch with us. You just saw it right there.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. All right. Let's do an NBA standings check. And excuse me, except we don't really have NBA standings to check in on because it's all the same. Yeah, what is there to check in with the standings? Do we want to even do an NBA standings check in, or is this going to be a 30 seconds of us saying nothing about the standings and then we just go to the
I just kind of leave it on the sheet in case.
I do too. I didn't think about it. Is there anything we want to talk about? I mean, the Bucks suck, but that's what we said last time too.
Yeah, we did the pod on Saturday, so there have not been any games. There will not be any games until Thursday. Thursday, the league is back. I guess we can do a quick, like, biggest surprise, like little like mid-season standings takeaways. Like, just for example, we could say Golden State probably hasn't had as good of a season as we would have thought they might have, right? Mm-hmm. Like, coming in, it felt like they had a decent offseason. They went out and made some decent, like, Sarge was supposed to be a decent addition for them. They have recovered a bit. But the same could be said against a team like Dallas, or for a team like Dallas, who is only a game out of fifth. But this summer, I thought they had a great offseason. Granted, it's already gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm in. I'm in on Dallas, or excuse me, on OKC. I got lost because I was trying to fix the tabs. But it's not working out for me very well.
Really, the whole top three of the West is better than everybody thought they would be.
Minnesota is my biggest surprise. I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they would be this good. Like, they are far and away better than I thought they'd be. So credit to them. Credit the Clippers. Like, they turned that around. It was looking really bad when they first made that James Harden trade.
Went
like,
0-5.
They looked like a dumpster fire, and they have since figured things out in a big way. Cleveland, too, had a really bad start to the season, and they've been, like, really, really good since then. They're now one of, 5 other teams that have a chance to hit the 40-20 mark, which is good. The Suns aren't as, like, oh, yeah, they turned it around, but they were also, like, they were 500 for a while, and now they're 11 games above. So, like, credit. Pelicans playing well. Warriors obviously disappointing. The Rockets fell off a cliff too. They were really hot. They feel like the Jazz of this year, where they were like, "Yeah, look at this team."
Everyone was like, "Oh, maybe."
Yeah, and then nah. Yeah, I feel like the Western
Milwaukee being 8.5 games worse than the Celtics is kind of a surprise too. I
Well,
think we all kind of thought it would be a bit more competitive at the top of the East, and it just hasn't been.
yeah,
I don't know if it's that the Celtics
I
have
think
been way better
I
or
think that's
Milwaukee
it.
just hasn't been good.
I think it's a mix of a lot of things, but I think for as good as they've been and they were expected to be good, like I think the Celtics being as good as they are is definitely also a surprise. Like they're almost at an 80% win percentage. That's fucking crazy. Like, that's insane. Good for them. But
Well, the fact that there's only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that could get 40 wins before 20 losses, Celtics have already done it, is kind of surprising. Like, you think
right?
Milwaukee
Yeah.
would have been able, at least, like, had a chance. Like, they had 20 losses at 35 wins. Like, that's not even close to where you think they would have been.
Yeah, 100%. Doc Rivers era has been
3 and
special
7.
stuff. Not great. Not great for Doc. Adam Silver is very mad at the All-Star game.
None too pleased.
Is where we're going next. So he went into the All-Star game, trying to hype it up, saying like, yeah, we want to make it good. We want to be cool. And then after the All-Star game, let me share my screen here. He had this to say about the All-Star game, and we can discuss his thought process here. Let's take a listen to Mr. Adam.
And to the Eastern Conference All-Stars, you scored the most points. Well, congratulations.
He is devastated. I mean, Adam Silver has
So
had
mad.
enough. This poor guy, I don't really feel that bad for him, but he stuck his neck out after last season because if you remember this time last year, Jack, we were having the same conversation. This game is ass. Who cares? They went back. They got rid of the captains. They got rid of the target score. They went back to the classic rules, and the players didn't care. You had Luka firing up a three-quarters court shot just for the hell of it. You had Luka also throwing himself an alley-oop off the backboard just to, like, throw it off the front of the rim. Like, these guys clearly didn't care about this game. There's been a lot of talk of, like, they should get paid extra for this game, which I guess, sure. But
yeah.
he is none too pleased. Like,
Mm-mm.
he really, really tried to do something and make this a respectable event, and they clearly did not care.
Luke is just
2-for-1 chance.
I love him, man. Luke is he's special stuff.
Adam
Yeah,
Silver
I
saw
mean,
that and probably fell out of his chair.
you get why. Like we've talked about this, they don't really have a reason to care. Like why would they care? And we did get some fun moments. Like there were some like funny haha, like look at them having fun. Jokic and Luka passing the ball back and forth all the way down the court without letting the ball hit the ground. Did you see that?
No.
So it's just Luka and Jokic being morons and playing hot potato because they don't want the ball to touch the ground. They're just going back and forth, not dribbling, pass,
I like this.
and then he kicks it to SGA for a dunk.
That's kind of cool.
Like there were some fun moments. It was just like no one cares. Like it's the All-Star game. Like it sucks,
So
but whatever.
this is what I'm gonna say on the All-Star game. And there has been a lot of crying after this year. All media. David Aldridge came out, tweeted, "That was dreadful. Again, I'm beginning to think this game is irredeemable. I'm not sure why even minimal defense effort is beyond this generation of all-stars, but it may be time to end this game if they can't give more of a damn than that." Now, few things. One, I'm not sure this is a direct impact on the game, but a lot of these guys being really good friends or close in general doesn't really make them want to compete anymore in this one. It's not like they're trying to prove that they're the best at all times. Like this generation just doesn't have that, and that's okay. There are still great games that happen throughout the season. Like this is still a competitive league, make no mistake. But at the same time, when it's December, in January, and Jack, you're like, what do you think about the All-Star game? And I'm like, I don't care. Yes, it's absolutely terrible podcasting, but this is why. Because every year we're just like, oh, they didn't care again, and people are crying online because
For
the
what it's
game wasn't
worth,
competitive.
I also don't care about the All-Star.
I know you don't.
I care about who is an All-Star because that is what matters at the end of the day. No one gives
Why
a
does
shit
it matter
how people
though?
think.
Why does it matter if they're just going to go out there and like not compete? Like
Well,
I
'cause
know it's a
the
recognition
selection,
thing, but
yeah,
why
the
even
selection
have
of
it
an
when you have all
All-Star,
NBA?
the selection of an All-Star is not for the game. It's the selection of who are the best players that season. And I understand like the All NBA thing. I just think I don't know. All-Star has always been a thing. So it is just a reflection
has
of like,
been.
it is how you help tally. Like LeBron's a 20-time All-Star. This person's a this time All-Star. Tatum's now what, a 5-time All-Star? Like that's how you tally stuff. So it's like All-Star is a signification of how good a player is on a consistent every year basis. And all NBA is another one of those, but I think All-Star is almost like more general. You can have more All-Stars, and then NBA is whole league, like very defined, like only the best make all NBA. But the game sucks. It does suck, and there's nothing you do to change it. And with all due respect to David Aldridge, the fuck do you want from them, brother? This game means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to any of them. They don't care, and they're not going to try to play defense if they don't care. And double down, it's the whole, if you think this person should be an all-star, you have to tell us who to take out. If you think this person's, bad, who you going to trade for him? If you think they should play defense, tell me why and propose a solution. Don't just say they suck. Figure it out. Give a solution if you're going to fucking
Well,
chill the game.
that is the big takeaway. Like the league,
What do you
Adam
want?
Silver went out and he talked a big game about him wanting this to be better. Well, it's time to actually do something.
You did nothing.
Yeah, you changed it back to what it was before, which was changed for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think making this more about the players is a way to get them to compete. The conference means nothing. There's no pride in playing in the Eastern Conference. There's just not. There is pride in representing your own name when they're doing the draft. Like LeBron wants his team to win because his name's on the team. Simple. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to keep saying it every time we talk about this. 16 teams do a tournament. Have to win 4 games in one night. It'll be fire. And they will care. But I'm not going to care about all-star selections anymore. I'm just not. I'll talk about them. We'll do the show. But I'm not going to care. And I don't think anybody else should care. Because if the players don't care, then we shouldn't care.
People care about being an all-star. They don't care about the game. It is different things.
Well, it's not, because when you become an all-star, you play in the game.
Yeah, but the point of being an all-star is not to play in the game. For these guys, at least. It is the recognition of being recognized by your peers, by the coaches, by the media, and by the fans as one of the best players in the NBA. That is what an all-star is. It's not, I get to go play in a meaningless game on the fucking dumbass streets of Indiana. Sorry, Indiana. Like, they don't care about that. They care about being recognized. It is a recognition thing, not a game thing. It is different.
In theory.
Not in theory. It is
No, you're correct in general. But in theory, it should be a kind of an honor to be able to play in the game. This is what the league wants it to be. An honor to play in the game, an honor to represent your team, and an honor to represent yourself in this game. However, that's not what it is. It's a circus. And that's what it is. So you either lean into it being a circus and make it a lot of fun, or you find a way to tweak it so they will actually want to compete, whether it's making prize money be part of it or making it a more difficult thing to actually win. So these guys have that competitive fire in them where they want to be able to have bragging rights. 2 teams is not going to give you that unless there's money.
It is an honor to be selected as an all-star and represent your team that way. But they view it as, I am representing my team on this piece of paper as an all-star because I earned that recognition as a great player for my team, not so I can go play in a game that means nothing. It would be an honor to play in the game if the game meant something, but the honor of being an all-star starts and ends when you are announced by fucking Shams and Woj, and that period. That is it. That is the end of the honor because there is no point to anything else.
The league needs to figure out a solution to this.
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I don't think it is all-stars don't matter.
I'm trying to pin this on the players.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying the recognition of being an all-star matters. The game itself doesn't matter, and that is the problem. I don't think it's fair to discredit the recognition of being an all-star, though.
I mean, I think if the players don't care, then we shouldn't care.
They care about being an all-star. They just don't care about the game. It is 2 different entities, and that's the league's fault. That is the league's fault that it is 2 different things, but it is.
I think if we all stopped caring. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't matter to the players. There's not. Listen, just hear me out. If we all stopped caring, and this is not going to happen, and nobody talked about this, the league would have no choice but to think and figure out how to make it worthwhile.
Of course, 100%. I agree with you. But no one's going to stop caring. The people who are going to, it's the same thing as Taylor Swift being put on the Jumbotron and people complaining about it. The people who like the NFL are going to, the point I'm making is the same. The people who like the NFL are going to watch regardless of Taylor Swift is on the screen. The people who watch the NBA are going to watch regardless of what's on the court because they just like basketball.
The two of us didn't watch. We did not watch. We watch the NBA. We like the NBA so much.
But I don't watch the All-Star game in general. I never watch the All-Star game.
Exactly. Why do you not watch the All-Star game?
Because I just don't care.
Exactly.
State Farm All-Star. Okay, this is Saturday night. Draws most viewers in 4 years.
That was probably because they did a good job of promoting Steph versus Sabrina.
Oh, never mind. All-Star game record low, wide margin. This was Utah last year though, so I wonder this year. Yeah, ratings are plummeting. I don't know. It's they need a problem, but I just don't think it's fair to say the recognition of being an all-star doesn't matter. I just disagree with that point. I don't think that's fair.
I mean, it matters from a selection standpoint, but these guys clearly don't care about it.
They don't care about the game. They care about being an all-star, though. It is different.
They need to make it the NBA needs to be like, okay.
I agree they need to make it not different, but it is at this point because they haven't made any incentive
NBA
for
should
them
go
to care
like
about the game.
Strict butthurt teacher and just be like, okay, you don't care, we're not doing this.
Sure. Just get rid of it.
No more accolades for any of you until you fucking be an adult and go out there and play.
Well, they can't do that. They have no reason to care. Why would they care?
Give them a reason.
Sure. JJ Redick's also mad, but he's mad at a different thing. He went on a rant about late starts in the NBA, which I agree. Respect. He's mad that games aren't starting on time, that the NBA lists, something's going to start at this time, but then it doesn't start. I think it was like the All-Star game was supposed to start at 8, it started at 8:42 or something like that. And so we're going to listen to his rant. We're going to give our thoughts and reaction. Because it's funny is the answer. Because it is an entertaining thing to do.
It's also like facts.
And 100% it's facts.
Yeah.
I agree. So we can let's take a look at JJ here. See what he's got to say.
Why can't we start anything on time in the NBA? Why can't we? I'm going to sound like an old person here, but if it says 8 o'clock, I don't want it to tip off at 8:42. All right. If I've already told my kids they can watch the first quarter, it's a Sunday night. Guess what? They've stayed up late like 4 straight nights because nothing starts on time in the NBA. And it's driving me crazy. And I work for a broadcast partner. Can we please just start things on time in the NBA? It's out of control. It's absolutely out of control. All right. On to the game. What?
I love him. He's so funny.
The best part of this is JJ Redick working for ESPN, who is the absolute worst when it comes to the start times. Like
TNT's good.
TNT starts right on time. But if you watch like even a regular broadcast on the local networks, it starts 8 minutes late. When it's ESPN, it's another 7 minutes late. It starts 15 minutes late. I don't know who this is on. I think it's actually on the broadcast partners. I think yesterday's late start in particular is on the league because they have to do all the pregame festivities. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure it's on whoever has the game, and they kind of have a say on when it starts because ESPN is always the latest.
Mm-hmm. ESPN is the worst, and it's not particularly close. Like they cannot figure out how to start on time. They are terrible. It's not even like, oh, sorry, we were 5 minutes late. It is 20-30 minutes late. Like we have extra time on our pregame show because ESPN is incapable of starting on time.
Correct.
It's frustrating. In on JJ, going in on them. Fire, love it more. What is the way to fix it though? Like just be better. There's no like there's nothing
start
that
the
people
fucking
can
game
do.
on time. It's really not that hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just come on, guys.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. All right, everybody, get out there.
Start the game. Yeah. Shout out JJ Redick though. That was good. We talked about it earlier. Mike Conley signing a contract extension with the Timberwolves. 2 years, 22 million. Two different numbers reported. I don't know if you saw that. Shams reported.
Oh, I did not.
Shams said 2 years, 22. Woj said 2 years, 21. So I assume it's like 21.5 or something. And one rounded up, one rounded down. Yeah. Yeah, that actually sounds right. It's probably his incentives. Woj is very team, Shams is very player, so it's probably $1 million or something in incentives. And one was reporting Conley got paid more, and one got that makes sense. Good deal. Mike Conley's having a phenomenal season. I had to double back and say I probably would take 1 year of Conley over 1 year of Pritchard. Just the age thing is the difference. He's averaging 10.5, 3 rebounds, 6.5 assists on 44 splits, 92 from the line. He's a beast. He's really good, and he never turns the ball over. 1.1 a game. Good for him. Good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's quality. And again, I really think he has a major impact on all of the teams he's on. Like, we kind of talked about it when we did the standings check. Utah last year got up to a roaring start. Well, Conley was the reason behind that. He goes to Minnesota this season, and all of a sudden, Minnesota is overachieving. And when he has been injured, they haven't been as good. Minnesota has had ups and downs. They've had stretches where they've gone 5-5 over 10 games. That has a lot to do with him. His veteran leadership, his ability to take care of the ball and set up the right guys in the right place is widely important. Without him, Minnesota clearly is not the team that they are at the top of the conference. And because of that, the team paid him. Makes a ton of sense. Good move for Minnesota. The contract is not bad at all, especially by today's cap standards. Good deal.
They are 37-13 with Mike Conley and 2-3 without Mike Conley. There you go. Shout out Mike Conley. Unfortunately, not shout out very much to Jacque Vaughn, who did in fact get fired by the Nets today. Like 2 days after we were talking about how much we love Jacque Vaughn. And I do love Jacque Vaughn. He's awesome. He's a great person. He is one of my favorite people in the interview room, like around the league. He's just always super kind, always super energetic, always gives great answers, always so eager to like answer everybody's questions. He says, thank you, have a good day, everything like he says, hi, how's everyone doing? He's a great person. He's a good coach. It's not his fault the Nets suck. It's just not. No. And it's tough because when you are looking for a new identity, you do want to shake things up. Jacque Vaughn deserves better. He should be a head coach somewhere in the league.
But I don't even know if you want to shake things up if you're the Nets. I think you want continuity. I think Jacque Vaughn did a great job with last year's team in particular because that was a fucking shit show. You had Kyrie running around, hating on certain groups of people, and then they both wanted to trade, and they still got in the playoffs. And even before the trades, they played a lot better than they had been playing. Nash gets fired. Jacque Vaughn comes in. All of a sudden, the Nets were rolling, and then all of a sudden, Kyrie asked for a trade, and that derailed their season. It was not his fault. This year, Mikal Bridges is their best player, and he's a fine player, but the players around him aren't good enough. How is that on the coach? This is another example of coaches being the easy scapegoat. It's a lazy take, and it's shitty that it's coming from the organization because you said it, Jack. This is not a guy that deserves this. Selfishly, I'm sitting here thinking, what if the Celtics brought him in as an assistant in some capacity, whether it's this year or next? He could be looking for something to do while he's looking for a new coaching job. It just doesn't seem fair. He seemed well-liked, seemed like he knew what he was doing, and he seemed like a decent leader. Just doesn't seem fair, and I don't know why we're both too fired up about this, but I just hate
because he's a good dude. Blamed like we don't talk about like, oh, we like this coach, this coach is great all that often. He's just a great dude. Like, seems like a good coach, a good person, went through a lot of shit in Brooklyn, deserved this. I remember when they hired Steve Nash, everyone was like, why didn't you just give it to Jacque Vaughn? Because he coached the team in the bubble after, who was it? Who left? It was D'Antoni left, someone left. And everyone was like, you should just give it to Jacque Vaughn. He did a good job. He's a damn good coach and a great person, a great leader. And before that Brooklyn game, in the pregame press conference, he was like, we had guys who just didn't run back on defense all the time. What the fuck are we doing? Like, effectively, like, we got to be better than that. And then they got blown out by 15. You're blaming him. It just feels lame to me. I don't know. I like Jacque Vaughn, good coach.
Very quickly want to take a look because I saw that this was posted in the Celtics subreddit on Reddit, and I'm curious to see what people had to say about it. It was one of the top posts, and I want to see if people are like either trashing him or they're like, "Hey, what if the Celtics went and got him?" or if they agree with us. Because I don't know. It's kind of weird to see what people have to say when they're kind of out of it. So let's see.
Was this in Celtics Reddit? You said
Celtics Reddit. First comment, Boston Celtics got another coach fired. Kind of true. We broke another team. What the fuck is he supposed to do with that roster is another comment. It's true. It's just, there's not a lot you can do when your team's bad. Like, it's the NBA. There are coaches that can help teams overachieve, but it doesn't seem like Jacque Vaughn was the problem. in any
No.
means. And I don't think this Nets team is a problem. I just don't think they have the personnel to compete, especially in the Eastern Conference, where there's several teams that are at least competitive.
Is this the third time the Celtics beating the shit out of a team has directly led to a trade or move firing? Happened twice with the
Kyrie,
Raptors. This year.
it happened twice with the Raptors.
OG
They
and Pascal
both
trades were right
they
after
both got
Celtics
traded right
games.
after.
I think so, yeah. And Jacque Vaughn.
I didn't even
can't think
think
of
like
another.
just this season, but like I know
Yeah,
Kyrie's
right?
last game as a Net was a whomping at the Garden. It was awesome.
I'm pretty sure both Raptors ones. I can get corrected if I was wrong, but I know that.
No, I believe you're right because I remember. I think we talked about that.
Very funny. Very funny.
Celtics go get him.
And for what it's worth, I can't imagine Grant being sprawled out on the floor against Tatum was a great lasting image there either. But last NBA thing we have, LeBron James supposedly hates attention. Can I find this clip? Can we play the clip somewhere?
Yeah, I didn't put the clip. That's my bad. But
no, you're
LeBron,
good. I can probably
while you
find
look for it, LeBron at his All-Star press conference. And at the press conference, he was kind of asked about what he plans to do going forward. When is he going to retire? As he like always is now. Like anytime he has a press conference, it's not Lakers media. It's like everyone. They're like, when are you going to quit? Anyways, they were like, I don't know if I'm going to do a retirement tour. Somebody asked him, he's like, I'm 50-50. There is not a chance that LeBron doesn't have the biggest circle jerk retirement tour you would ever see. There is zero chance he would just retire.
I got him.
LeBron came out and said he doesn't really handle attention well. Here's the clip.
We don't have to play the full 2 minutes, but I'm gonna.
It doesn't end with the team playing for right now.
I have not mapped out how many seasons I have left. I know it's not that many.
Probably true.
Also don't know if I will. I was asked this question a couple of days ago. Will you kind of take the farewell tour, or will you kind of just Tim Duncan it? I'm 50-50.
Not true.
To be honest, because there's times where I feel like I guess I owe it to my fans that's been along this journey with me for 2 decades plus to be able to give them that moment.
Fair.
You know,
I get that.
And whatever case may be.
Nobody loves LeBron like LeBron.
Well,
you know,
I'll
tease his fans.
That seems cool. But the other side of I've never been that great with accepting like praise.
He can't even keep a straight face. Look at him. Bullshit.
It's just a weird feeling for me. So
the worst.
I saw someone quote tweet that with this man literally has chosen one tatted across his chest.
Yeah. I mean, be fucking for real.
Listen, I get the concept of the fan thing because I like you wanted to go to Paul Pierce's last game.
Yeah, I sure did.
So the fact that you knew when he was retiring allowed you to have that moment and that special thing. So I get it from like my fans want to know when I am done so they can experience it one last time. I understand that because like people will sometimes buy tickets. The praise thing is hilarious.
The praise thing is hilarious. But, like, you also can't act like there is nothing in it for LeBron if he has, like, a retirement tour.
Definitely. Absolutely, there's stuff in it. Teams will lay out the thing.
If he gets an ovation in every fucking arena and they give him a gift and all that, like, it's not like he's not enjoying that.
Of course.
I know he just tried to say he doesn't like praise, but that's just not true. So, of course, he's going to fucking want that. That's LeBron. It's the biggest LeBron thing ever. He literally did a fucking special when he was going to leave the Cavs because he loves attention so much. That's why it's a bunch of bullshit.
I think it's fine to want that, but just to admit that you think it'd be fun.
That's the problem. Just say you want the circle jerk.
Yeah, it's fine to want that. Kobe did it. Pierce did it. You know, they wanted it. Tim Duncan didn't want it, and so he didn't say shit, and he went away. Kevin Garnett didn't want it. Whatever. Just admit you want it. Just say, I don't know. And they're like, come on, brother. Come on, man. Come on, dude. It is funny. The chosen one on the chest is just all-time quote tweet. All right. You want to go to the rat list here? Are we ready to rock there? All right. Would you like to kick us off?
I can kick us off. I sure can. Rat list. This restaurant in Montreal. Now, I'll tell you why. The lady and I decided we want to go to breakfast, and we try this place that was recommended to her from a friend. Now, we take the metro. Lovely metros in Montreal, I'll tell you that. The clean subways, very, very up to date, very new. Like, they have screens in the subway that tell you what stop you're at, updated.
They're adding those in Boston. They are. They're slowly rolling.
It's pretty nice. Anyway, and I love taking the subway. So take the subway, have to jump onto another line to zip up, whatever. We get to the restaurant. They have people waiting outside. They don't have a space for people to wait for their table inside. It's fucking cold up there. I bitched about it in the last. Like, it is freezing cold. They got an entire restaurant's worth of people waiting. For us to have gotten into that place, we would have, and you can't make a reservation, we would have had to wait for them to flip every single table for us to get in. Probably. Estimate. Not a fact. Estimate.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
So ratless to them for just having like no space to wait. Like they got people lined up around the fucking block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fucked. That's terrible. Bad. This isn't really rat list, I suppose, but basketball. I want to talk about ball. It's like the best part of my week every week, so I like talking about it. It's fun. I love basketball, man. I don't get to play a lot. I play like twice a week, and it's awesome. I love it.
Hey, twice a week is more than you used to play, so that's a step in the right direction.
Definitely. I'm hoping I get to play consistently twice a week now too. And there's the place I'm moving to in September has a park across the street with the hoop, so I'm probably gonna get to play along.
Nice,
which is good. Ratless myself though, because I hit Frank. I crossed the fuck out of Frank. I got his ass. I was driving down the hoop. Well, it's myself. I drove down the hoop. I hit him with one of those like in-out dribbles where I brought the ball past and like pretended to go left. He was gone, like no chance. And then I fucking smoked the layup in traffic. I was so bad. I had him. I got you. I Euro stepped you and I got around you in the paint for one.
I was mad. I missed the ball.
I know. I got around you just barely. So I was hyped, but yeah. No, ball was fun though. It was good runs yesterday. I had a good time.
I hadn't got to go and play with you guys on Sunday nights in a while because
I hadn't been in a minute either. It's been busy.
I mean, Celtics or men's league, and you play a men's league game, you aren't really trying to go play another 2 hours.
I hadn't been since like November. Like it's been a long time.
Really? It's been that long?
Yeah. Well, think about the holidays, like Christmas. I wasn't there in Christmas. I got sick during Christmas. I don't know if I was there maybe beginning of December, but it's been a while. So I was very glad to go play again. I love ball.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I have a lot of friends in there too, so I don't get to see everybody all that much anymore. So it's nice to go.
It populated last night too. Like everyone was at ball last night, which was good.
They didn't really play well yesterday though. I played okay. I had one good game where I could not make. You played well yesterday. You make a lot of shots. Henry even made.
I mean,
it was terrible.
I did. Henry made one. I made a couple yesterday. I made Deshaun play some actual defense. He was he was sinking back a little too far for my liking. I had to teach him. He had to know.
So speaking of basketball, yesterday I made the drive back down from Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get back in time to be at basketball, which starts at 7 p.m. We left at 1 p.m. 6 hours in there for me to get back. I ended up being a half hour late to ball, which wasn't too bad. The U.S. border, rat list. Nothing happened to me at the border. Nothing happened to her at the border. However, they don't have like the best system. They have 5 gates for you to like go up and go to the window and like they're like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so like 2 of them were open and they opened a third. Shout out to the guy that was like diagonally adjacent to us. He just was like, okay, I'm going up. And we were like, okay, like we're also going to go up and around. It was like U.S. citizens only. So it was like almost like the express lane.
Yeah.
It ruled. But why do you not have all 5 open? The line.
How many were open? 1, you said?
It was 2 open and then they opened a third. If I had not etched out and gone along the side, I probably would have been there an hour. I was there probably 25, 30 minutes still. Like, get it together. I know, like, people love the borders. I'll tell you that. But come on, you got to get it. Widen the thing or something. Like, just more gates.
Tough.
Great job.
That is tough look. It's a tough look. My next one falls in line with yours. So you want me to go first or yours?
You
Because
go
I have
first.
a driving rat list too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was on the highway last night coming to Ball, and you would definitely know the highway if I said it. I just don't know what it's called because I'm a moron, and like I can definitely
Say
find it on Google
295.
Maps. I am good at a lot of things. I am perhaps the worst person you've ever met at knowing what road name, like highway names. I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I'm on 95 or 93 or 4. There's too many fucking names. It's the highway. I'm on the highway is what I'm on, which is like, so
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to look now because I want to know now, but I was on the way to Ball. Getting there. I am on, I believe, what is 295. Yes. 295, I believe, is correct.
I know all the roads.
I'm driving. Someone is going 65 in the left lane, far left. Someone is going 68 in the middle lane. And then somebody else pulls in on the right lane and goes 64. It's the fucking Avengers in front of me, and I can't go anywhere. I almost had Henry take a video, but I didn't want to get caught fucking filming people on the highway and get someone pissed off. It's just like that was the most mad I've been in the car in a while. And Henry doesn't always get mad, but even he was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like across the board, not letting anybody pass. There wasn't a soul in front of him. Not even close.
Terrible.
So fucking mad. If you're going to drive the speed limit, fuck off. Get out of the left lane. Banned. Driving license gone. Horrible. Just fucking horrible. Oh, it got me so mad.
When I was in Canada, Jack, you'll love this.
Mm.
When you're on the highway, they have these signs on the side of the highway that have like the circle with a line through it. And it's two cars driving next to each other. They are anti-wall up in Canada. They don't allow that. It's illegal.
Oh, dude.
I saw it and I was like, that is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. So yes.
Fuck yeah, Canada.
I made the drive back, and I'll tell you what. Once you get into the United States, the further you go down, the more ass these drivers become. Up in Vermont, 2 lanes on the highway, everybody's got it right. Slow drivers in the right lane, fast drivers in the left lane. The left lane is legitimately used for passing the way it was intended by the creator. Then you get down, we stopped in New Hampshire right at the border. As you get down on 89 going into across, like you're not coming top down, you're going across. Stop at Jersey Mike's, as one does. Fine establishment. Shout out to Jersey Mike's. Get back on the highway. All the bad drivers must have came out after dinner. Just everybody out there slugging around in the left lane. Then you got the morons, and it's still only 2 lanes. If you are not able to pass somebody, just get over. Get over. If you're next to a box truck, you have a responsibility to pass the box truck in a timely manner. When I was driving, there were so few cars, and I was driving for so long that I was able to pick up on trends. I was like, traffic really gets going when there's a box truck because people decide they need to pass it, but the people passing it aren't always your typical passers. So they don't know how it's done properly, how to drive quickly. And it takes them longer, and then they hold everybody up, creating a wall. Then you have the guy in the middle lane that should actually be in the far right lane, but he's in the middle lane.
Mm-hmm.
So you get trapped in the left lane behind a slow guy, and then you have his friend next to him in the middle lane, and you're trapped. It was probably 3 hours straight of me dealing with the dumbest of the dumb. By the time I made it back to Providence, I was ready to have a meltdown. I did have a meltdown. She was none too pleased.
Wait, what was she not pleased about? Is what she said?
The meltdown. She doesn't like when I get upset.
I'm a very positive person on the show. I am one of the most angry drivers in the world. I
I'm
can't
also
do it.
well, you know me.
I
Would you
can't
be
do it.
surprised if I got angry about it?
It's horrible, man. I just get off the roads. Go.
I
go
get
home.
behind the wheel. I just become Chris Broussard.
It's bad, man. People can't drive, and it's tough. I don't know if I have anything else.
No.
Ball was good. Driving was bad. I feel like I had something, but I can't think of it. No, I think that's just about it. Oh, it's just people who go 25 miles an hour on the off ramp. Fuck off. Like I understand, like you're supposed to go a little bit slow. Don't like grind to a halt. You're turning. What are you doing?
I
Please.
watched the most impressive display of driving I have ever seen yesterday.
Hit me.
Meaning the opposite. So I'm driving, and they have an on-ramp with a yield sign. I think a yield sign. Not sure. Pretty much was like, just pay attention. There's oncoming traffic. I watched somebody stop at the merge in my rear view. That is get rear-ended type stuff. I can't believe I saw that with my own eyes.
Like getting onto a highway, they stopped.
They stopped.
See, I've had to do that before. Do you want to know why? I've told this on here. I had to stop getting onto a highway because the person in the far right lane. So it's one of those where like I'm getting on and like 100 yards in front of me is get off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the loop highway.
Yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
It was not like that.
I agree. Yours is bad. I had to stop because the fucking person in the right lane tried to stop to let me in. You're on the highway.
Yeah.
Fucking go. I have the yield. Get out of my way. What are we? And then the people behind me are honking. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? This dude stopped. I can't, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Anyways, that's all I got. Driving gets me so heated, but you got anything else? Are we done? We cooked?
No, we're done.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it very much. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Let us know what you think of the new thumbnails. We're trying some stuff to get more viewers on the channel, putting our super cool faces in there saying, oh, look what's happening.
Handsome
super cool.
faces.
So this will probably be titled something about Tatum meeting Larry Bird. So you'll see them on the thumbnail. Super cool. But thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Do all that good stuff. Send us an email. We appreciated it today. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, the website, howaboutthamceltics.com.
Yes.
Next pod. Guest on the next pod. Yes, we'll have a guest for the Thursday pod. This is true. And the Nets are hiring Kevin Ollie as an interim head coach. So there's
It was
your
on
news.
the sheet.
But I'll let
It was ignored.
Well, I didn't look at the info when I saw that because I thought I knew everything. Oopsies. All right. Go ahead. I'll let you wrap it up.
Thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. These pods are coming at you Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have Talking C's with Bobby Kravitsky, which is live on Monday and Friday, pre-recorded on Wednesday. You can find our other videos in the filler days. And anytime there's a game recap the next morning, whether it's in the pod or its own video. And before the game, we're here live, a half hour before for pregame. Come hang out in pregame. It's a blast. A lot of nonsense going on. Leave a like. Say something nice in the comments. Also, leave a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple, where you can find the audio versions of the pods and game recaps. Say something nice about us there, too. You can also find us on the email, like Jack said, and we did earlier in the pod. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with us. We do go through your emails each podcast, and we love to hear from you. So keep doing that. We appreciate everyone coming out today. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find our pregame streams there and on YouTube, and also on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at Jack's NBA. Mine's at Sam France NBA. It's it for us.